Marketers of the world, why do we work hard to solve small problems? Why do we reinvent ourselves and our clients over and over? And why are we giving away marketing strategy for free? With advancements in AI, we're all seeing the marketing department shrink from the bottom up, and companies need you to serve them as their fractional chief marketing officer. It's time to solve bigger problems and bring home a bigger paycheck. It's time to create the lifestyle we deserve and to make a greater impact. This is the Fractional CMO Show, and I'm Casey Stanton. Join me as we explore this growing industry and learn to solve bigger problems as marketing leaders. The Fractional CMO Show is sponsored by CMOx, the #1 company to teach you how to attract, convert, and serve high-paying fractional CMO clients on your terms. All right, well, let's just chat. So I want to give you like the big kind of overarching thought here, which is I think on February 5th, everything changed. And I'm kind of a technical person. I'm kind of a nerd, right? I like playing with stuff. I've always kind of been interested in coding and development. I'm no good at it, but I've always been interested in it. I've always kind of played in that. I've always had my own servers, whatever. And I have these ideas of what I think is possible. And I've got buddies that I've just kind of overstayed my welcome with on our text messages around like, hey, how do I do this? How would you do this thing with Cloudflare? Like, how can I set this stuff up? And they're like, I don't know, go get a book or something. So then when ChatGPT came out, I could go ask ChatGPT, and that was helpful. That was certainly cool. But on February 5th, Claude 4.6 came out. And I think it's fundamentally shifted what's possible. I think it is to me, it's the first model that is really exciting. And before that, like if anyone here was following ClaudeBot or OpenClaw or Moltbot, I was there kind of early on and I was playing with it and I tried it and I was excited, but it didn't feel like the utility was really there. And so I kind of let that go. And I've been like playing with everything as it came out, Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever. And I just feel like everything changed on Feb 5 when I got access to that Opus 4.6 model. And it is fundamentally different. And if you're not abreast to it, I think there's a lot of opportunity for you to be a more effective CMO. And I thought today I could just show you around a little bit. If anyone here is feeling kind of trepidatious around it because it's scary, because it's command line stuff. I just want to I have an idea of something I want to start building. And I thought we could dive into that. And then I'd love to field your questions and kind of help you out. Because I think that there's going to be a separation here. And I've got a podcast I just recorded on this. I think it's like a separation season. There are the CMOs that are learning to use the AI tools and those that aren't. Or those that are learning the AI tools to replace human labor, which is a thing. And then those that are using it to write emails and social media posts. There's two different kinds of CMOs. And someone could say, oh, I use AI all the time. It writes all of my LinkedIn posts. That's not what we're talking about here. Like what I want to show you today is how I think we're fundamentally changing the marketing department. And I think there's some good and bad to it. Kind of the humanity in me wants there to always to be like a pipeline for young people to be able to get into a market and get better and grow and like have internships and entry-level jobs. And I think that stuff's kind of going away. And that's a little scary. But on the other side, as a CMO, we don't have to have as many people on a team and we can deliver a bigger outcome for our clients, which can then give us more money for advertising to grow faster or for the client to retain more money so they can be more profitable immediately. I think those are really interesting opportunities that exist right now. So I'd love to field questions here in a minute, but I thought I kind of prepared something. And we're going to start from scratch on a really stupid idea that I came up with so that we could have some fun. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the prompt that I wrote in Notepad. And here is what it is. This is literally how I would do it on a project. And we're just having some fun here. And I'll make this a little bit bigger for you. I use Notepad just because I like to keep things simple. I need your help developing a PowerPoint for a conference for my new product, the Baby Guitar Training Academy. It's a 12-week-long training program that helps babies aged 12 to 18 months learn their first licks on the guitar. This is a joke product for April Fools, but it should look absolutely real. The slide deck will be for a conference. We'll have a booth and a TV screen. The TV screen will show the slide deck on repeat. I want text slides and image slides interwoven, like one text, one image, etc. The tech slides need to talk about the program, who it's a great fit for, and why people need to invest in it today. Use lines like, if your baby can hold a bottle, they're ready to hold a Stratocaster. Talk to the desires of the parent to be tiger moms and have the smartest, most capable children. Quote real studies about the values of learning music from a young age and being exposed to music. In addition, add an additional slide showcasing a bonus in-womb listening tracks or similar name for expecting parents to expose their children to music. State a price for this offer and add a bonus as a bonus stack at the price, but make it free. Example, normally $29.99, but at today's conference, get the in-womb listening tracks absolutely free. For colors and branding, swipe from a reputable music theory or training program or a prestigious university like Harvard or Princeton. I have a folder called Pics that has photos of babies playing the guitar. Use them in the slide deck. Total slides is 6 to 8. If you don't have enough photos, put a prompt in the slides where you want images that are missing that I can copy paste into ChatGPT to render, or render them yourself if you're able. Take some liberties here, but deliver me something world-class. Above all, make sure the PowerPoint is editable so I can change, copy around. It's a dumb idea, but like, think about how you can apply this for your client. And I want to tell you, if a client was like, we need this slide deck on a TV at the booth, how am I going to do it? Like, this is a real problem that you might face. So let me show you how I do this. I am going to share this. It's going to be a little messy as I kind of share everything. And you're going to see my whole computer. And I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to go, I'm on Windows, and I'm going to type in command, CMD. Is everyone seeing this? This command prompt? Okay, so I made a folder here in the projects, and I have it called, let me double check the name of it, baby guitar. So I made a folder on my computer, and that folder is here. I have it in a projects folder, and I have another one called baby guitar. With Claude Code, I can limit its access to a specific folder. I want you to understand something fundamental here, which is we're going to be building files on my computer system or changing files, like building and changing actual files. This is different than ChatGPT spitting out text for you that you copy into a Google Doc. This is actually building a full thing for me. So if you could come in to your projects folder and right click and make a new folder, like I did and call it baby guitar. Now I'm here. I'm kind of in the same place in the command prompt. Looks a little scary. I'm going to invoke Claude. Usually I just hit this, but for today, I'm going to dangerously accept permissions. Whoops. How do I do that? Claude, dangerously skip permissions. Said that wrong. Dangerously skip permissions. Now it's saying, hey, Claude's going to open this. Is Claude cool to be able to read, edit, and execute files in this folder? I say, yeah, that's cool with me. All right, great. Now I'm in Claude. This looks a little scary, maybe. It's the whole black and white. It feels like we're Angelina Jolie in the Hackers movie. Awesome movie, by the way. So now let's take a look at my prompt. I copy it to my clipboard. I come back here. I paste it. I paste in all 16 lines. I hit enter. And we're off to the races. Now, I pay for Claude Code. So there's there's 3 levels. There's the $20 a month. There's the $100 a month, and there's the $200 a month. For me, I've just been playing with the $100 a month, and I've been coding 2 hours a day, 7 days a week since about February 6th or 7th. Saturdays and Sundays too. I work on this all the time. I'm always having fun. I'm always playing. I'm building a different idea, a project out, whatever. So as we see, I gave it this. Somebody have a question? No. Amber, you're off mute. I'm going to mute you. It says, let me check what photos are available, and then I'll build this into the PowerPoint. And now it's looking to, okay, it's got the Python PowerPoint thing. So this is like how it's going to be able to build the PowerPoint file. It says the photos are perfect. It can understand photo content. Like it has the ability to review a photo and know what it is. I'll go with the Harvard Crimson inspired color scheme for the prestigious look. Great. If when I invoked Claude, I didn't dangerously skip permissions, it would ask me along the way for approval and for steps.
So I have a question on
Yes,
that.
please.
So I'm in media advertising, digital marketing, content creative, all of that. But big organizations, I would say, are a little bit slower to adopt this, not because of the time saving, but because of like the privacy concerns. So what are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think privacy is a major concern. I think that the value of having a chief information officer, a CISO, a CTO. I think these things are critical. I think
Hmm.
having a paper trail and being able to audit these things is important. I think in some ways, rolling your own LLM on your machine with something like Olama. Are you familiar with Olama?
I'm not a tech person, but I was just at South by and I listened to a keynote of the chief tech in
Mm.
from Uber on AI, and it was really interesting. Just in terms of not my marketing speak of how I use AI, but like the
Mhm.
true like tech view on it.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so I
so
was just curious, and she was talking a lot about that. And I would say at Pernod, where I work, and Coca Cola, where I used to work, that's what I foresee being like the biggest funnel to adoption of bigger marketing works. Now,
I want to
startups in
suggest though that like
fractional, I could see being more, open to using this quicker just because there's, generally, scrappier and quicker. I was just curious. And if people are in other industries or, just curious.
yeah. So okay. So big picture here, I think that there's a way to use AI tools that doesn't expose data outside.
I think that's the
There's
biggest issue. Yeah.
That's a big one. And if there is stuff related to data, running it um, with an open model. So Olama installs software, and then you can run through Docker, Olama, and then have your model of choice in there. So you're able
Hmm.
to run it all locally. And when I say local, I mean you could unplug the computer from the internet and just use the processing power on your computer exclusively. So if you're
Hmm.
like in the health space, if you have PII or
Hmm.
financial data or health data or whatever, you can just run that through an AI model on a laptop. It won't be as fast. It'll probably not compute as well, but it can still get
Hmm.
you a lot of that benefit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think in this example right now, nothing that we're doing is what would be like something I would be concerned that could get out or like train the algorithms.
Yeah. Yeah, because I deal a lot with brand strategies, right, and differentiation, and
Sure.
so for me, right, for my part of the marketing work, it's about well, we don't want another, we don't want a competitor brand. See,
Yeah, and I think that that's like a fair point.
like from
It's,
a
it's
legal, larger corporate legal standpoint, not from my personal view. But
I think it's a fair point for a Coca-Cola, but I don't think it's a fair point for a smaller brand.
yeah, I
If
agree.
if there's a data security issue, that's a thing. But right now, I think there's a game of speed. I think speed is incredibly important, and a lot of people are playing the game of like I'm scared,
Yeah.
and then they're going slow, and I think that lets lesser companies take over their market share.
Hmm. I would agree with that. So
Okay,
I guess I'm here to balance my personal edification with um, corporate realities.
sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Mm.
And also, I don't know if there's anything stopping you from running this on your own and say, instead of saying Coca Cola, say a company like Coca Cola and
Sure.
having it build out all the stuff, then you go in and do the edits.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so take a peek here. Claude Code. So check what photos were available. Have the
Casey,
photos.
it's Casey. We just had a large influx of people. Could you just give a quick
Yeah,
what you're
hey.
doing to catch everyone up?
Thank you, Michael. Hi, guys. Welcome in. We're just playing, and I've got a really dumb prompt here to show you what's possible with Claude Code. And we're developing a PowerPoint for a conference for my product, the Baby Guitar Training Academy. And I gave it this prompt that I just wrote myself. It's super goofy. If your baby can hold a bottle, they're ready to hold a Stratocaster. I also provided a couple images that I had ChatGPT render, and I just copied and pasted this into Claude Code. You can see this is my prompt I pasted in, and then we're just seeing what happened. So it's complete. We're going to open up this file together and see what happened. It has the photos. It likes the photos. Now it's building the deck out. It's cleaning some stuff up. And looks like it add a filled rectangle shape, and then it fixed it by adding some opacity to it. Right? Red means it deleted something. Green means it added something. You don't even have to care because all we care about is the outcome. Now it says the deck is generated successfully. Let's verify the output and check its file size. And what it has here is, so we're going to have a title slide, an image, why the first 18 months are everything, an image, text, image, yada, yada. Great. And these are the colors it pulled from Harvard based on my prompt. So it's got a gold and a Harvard crimson. Awesome. Let's rip it and see what happens. Let's open this thing up and see what our Baby Guitar Training Academy presentation looks like. And you guys get to see these really stupid photos. Oh, already strong. Gave us a URL. Pulls in the image. Now the image is probably should be like that. These are some things I pulled on ChatGPT. Real students, real results, real tiny hands. Awesome. Quotes, cool. Looks like some kind of spacing issues, maybe because of the quote mark. It's kind of screwing that up. Okay, so that's an issue. I just want to show you what I'm going to do with that. So we're going to come back to Claude Code, and I'm going to say, on slide 3, there are golden quote marks at the end of the quotes. These are too large and push the last row of text too far down, and the spacing of the quote lines is inconsistent. Fix it. I'm going to close this. I'm going to hit fix it. And it's going to go fix it based on my plain language. So it's look at the current code for slide 3's research citations. It's using this Python script that it wrote to build everything. So we could take a peek at what that looks like. So this is the whole script it made. This is what actually executes the creation of that PowerPoint, which is pretty awesome. And it's doing something here around slide 3. So it's going to figure out what the problem is. Fixed. Now it's done. This file just updated its time. So my time right now is 12:24. Its time is updated. We're going to open it. And we're going to go to slide 3. And they fixed it. That problem is fixed. That problem's fixed a little, like probably around the same speed it would have taken me to fix it. Now it's lost that cool golden quote, so maybe we would want that added back. Like, look at this. These kids chicken picking. That's a pretty good photo. And then as we move our way down, okay, for me personally, I can't build this slide. You gave me all day to make the slide, and I couldn't do it. I don't have the design sense to be able to do it. And it did it. So to go to the question of like, is this ready for production? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you could go in here and you can edit it. Right? You can change the words that you want in it because it's an editable PowerPoint. It's a good one. That's so good. Okay, and then this is not right. So I would come back in here and say on slide 7, let's just state the problem. On slide 7, the in-womb listening tracks have type like the text kind of messed up. It's overlaying other text and absolutely free hangs off the bottom on white space. Redo this and make it look great. That's that. I'm going to close the file and let it do its thing. So this is how you can iterate on stuff. And, I would question, like, are you going to be able to get something ready for production that you could hand off to the team and say, we're done? Maybe with a PowerPoint you could. I mean, for me, it's better than a PowerPoint I could make. Some of you are going to rather use beautiful.ai or Canva. Maybe Canva's got that AI stuff. I haven't played with it. But this is something that you could do. And just ask it questions. So while it's doing this, and we'll check that slide 7 and see how it looks. Anyone have any thoughts on this? Like, what comes up for you about what's possible? Or any questions about how to use this?
I am curious, why are you going in the code directly as opposed to dashboard Claude Code and letting it go into terminal for you?
Because I haven't set it up and I feel cooler using the terminal window.
Terminal does look a lot cooler.
Yeah.
I do give kudos there.
That's it. That's the
Okay.
only reason. Yeah, I don't know. I don't fully understand Claude Cowork.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I need to. Yeah.
What I was a little bit concerned about is like I love how all of this can do it, and similar to the prior lady, but in a little bit different. I'm more concerned about this thing having access to data that's on my machine or hacking into my banking information and things like that. Like, should I put this on a separate machine that only runs the agentic stuff, or is it okay to mix it in with what I'm doing?
Yeah, good question. So my take on this is, you've heard of OpenClaw? Have you heard of OpenClaw?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so OpenClaw is like Wild West. You don't want that on your computer. It doesn't have the same level of permissions, security. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble there. I have that. I installed it on I have an Intel NUC. It's in the basement. I can remote desktop into it and play with it and that kind of stuff. So that keeps it safe. I have it on a different network. So I have a unified network system. I have a different network for like my IoT devices, and I put that one on the same one. That kind of keeps me safe from that stuff. So that's what I would say if you were using something like OpenClaw. But with Claude Code, what Claude is going to be doing, their relationship here is going to be to limit to directories and permissions. So at the start here, I said dangerously skip permissions. But had I not said that, all along the way, it's going to ask me for permission each step of the way. And that multi-step permission, it's like good and bad. At some level, you're Homer Simpson with that bird that just hits the Y button over and over again. And you're just like, whatever, I'm just going to hit the button and you guys are going to do your thing. And maybe it breaks something, deletes something, who knows? So you have to kind of keep up with it. But in this way, I felt safe because this is a folder that had nothing in it besides the baby photos that I got from ChatGPT. And that was it. And I only gave it access, as you can see here. I changed the directory into the baby guitar folder, and then I ran Claude within it.
Got it. Okay, I think I was like lumping all of those things into one, like, Claude Code, OpenClaw, ClawMot, all of that. I was kind of lumping that into one, I think.
Yeah, and I think that Claude is going to create the most, for lack of a better term, secure way to do things. Right? Like there's secure, like Claude is going to do something that's going to be, Claude is going to do it for the enterprise. And then ClaudeBot is going, or OpenClaw is just going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to develop whatever, and it's going to be a little more fast and loose. And if you're willing to take the dangers of it, you can play with that. But there's a lot of belief that Claude will be creating their own OpenClaw variation that just has better security protection.
Got it.
So security is important for sure, and having backups. I want to say one thing while I'm in here. We have this folder, just to show you in real time. I have this folder of the 4 kids that came from ChatGPT. And I would say in the /pics folder, rename the photos based on their contents. Be descriptive. Now watch in real time as these photo names get updated. To me, this is magical.
Yeah. So it's like title tags for the pictures, like, landscaping in New York. And
that's it.
You change the names and upload it to Google Places, Google My Business.
That's it, man. That's it. And so now we have this baby rock star leather jacket Stratocaster stage. It's a good name. Very descriptive. And now I'm going to say, now rebuild the PowerPoint into a HTML page that I could upload to my server. So it's running through some stuff. I don't know what it's running through right now. I guess they're just changing the names of it in the PowerPoint. Oh, because it's referencing those. Oh, that makes sense. PowerPoint's open, so it doesn't like that. I'd have to close my PowerPoint and try again, then rebuild the PowerPoint to an HTML page. So it says this, still locked, please close the file. Okay, makes sense. So now it's editing all the slides, and now it's going to build this into an HTML version. And we get a full functioning website that you can upload to a server. And you say, how do I upload to a server, Casey? I've never done that before. Okay, just tell Claude that you want to do it and ask it what to do. I use DigitalOcean, and I can provision a server in like 2 minutes. Cost me maybe $4 a month to run it on like the cheapest version, $6 a month. And then I say to it, what do you need? It says, give me the API key and give me this kind of functionality or provision these permissions. And I do that. I give it the API key, and it uploads everything for me. So right now, we go back into Baby Guitar, and we see we just have the PowerPoint and then the deck build. And shortly, we'll see a new file that gets added here, which is an HTML file, which will be a full website. How do you think you would install Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics on it? You just say, here's my Google Analytics account ID, install Analytics. Done. All the stuff that you've always wanted to do, you can do quickly now, if you just know what you want. What else is coming up for y'all? We're getting a bunch of anything in here in the chat, Michael?
So what would you say? Like, I get this is super efficient in terms of building a deck from scratch. What if you were just using an existing deck and just looking for visual edits? How would you compare this to ChatGPT or other tools?
In the game of compare Claude to ChatGPT, I say choose a platform and get married to it. Choose one of the big ones and get married to it. And listen, I'm on Claude Code, and I've got a buddy, Bill, who's a chief technology officer, super smart guy. He was on Claude Code. He told me about it early on, and I didn't really get it. So then I finally got on it. I've been spending a lot of time. He's like, oh, I've moved on. I'm on Codex from ChatGPT. I'm not going to move on. He's in the world of moving on because he needs to be on the bleeding edge. I'm not. Mm-hmm. So it kind of doesn't matter to me. I can stay here. Let's just open this real quick. Look at our website. Oh, it's like a slide, though. And then what's going to happen? It runs that through, and then it goes to the next thing. So it's treating the website like a slide deck. That's not what I want. So I'm going to come back to Claude and say, you are treating the website like a slide deck. Make it just one long page with all content visible immediately by scrolling down lazy load to increase page load speed. So plain language stuff. And this will get built in a second. Did I answer your question? Sorry to interrupt you. Who was just asking that question? Was it Crystal?
Oh, the last question about ChatGPT, yeah. That was me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions about it, or you feel kind of clear on that?
No, I feel clear on that. Honestly, I have been personally playing around with ChatGPT with just the $20 version. Again, just for like my personal AI edification. I haven't played around with Claude too much, but I feel like people are using it a lot. So that's why I jumped on this call. Because I've definitely heard about it and I was interested in learning more. So I was just curious on the differences. And then, I feel like in terms of marketing stack and marketing org, I think it's going to be a combination of tools and or whatever tool, if you're at an enterprise company, they choose to go with.
Yeah, like what you're permitted to use.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Because
sense.
I think a lot of people are also using Microsoft's one,
Copilot?
but at Copilot, yeah, sorry, I couldn't think of the name off the top of my head all of a sudden. I think that there is criticism to Copilot, but if they fix it, it is already tied to Office. So
Mm-hmm.
I could see enterprise brands just using it or white labeling something as well. So I'm just trying to stay educated on the space like you.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. I think at the end of the day, it's about playing, and there's the tools that you're not going to be able to use, maybe because of like the corporate job or whatever. But if you're a fractional CMO and you're serving clients, it's about you bringing in innovation. And I think the best way to do that is just
Agreed.
play.
Yeah, no, totally see the value there. Where there's not limitations, I think use the best tool.
Right.
The best, cheapest, fastest tool, right? Whatever that may be.
And to me, it's not cheapest. That's not what I'm solving for. I'm solving for like, what can I make work without being the smartest version of me?
Yep. No. Yeah, I get it. I'm just thinking from the perspective of a corporation
Sure.
and how they're balancing non-working spend with working spend.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense. I want to share real quick. The HTML page is complete, and it has a scroll on it. I mean, that's a pretty good website. I mean, is this the kind of website that that someone would have paid a lot of money for from an agency before? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Creative agencies are in trouble overall. It's not a good time to be at a creative agency.
Absolutely, they are. I think a lot of people are in trouble. I think that's why we have to move to the top. I mean, that's why I'm so committed on this fractional CMO thing. It's like, this is where we have to be. If we're not fractional CMOs, then, and I saw a meme. It was like me asking my boss for a raise and him thinking about replacing all labor with AI. I think a lot is going to shift. So us being able to come in and play and build stuff out, I think is critical.
I would agree with that.
I think right here, though, one thing I noticed is I'm missing is like, there is no call to action order form.
Yeah. I mean, I think that AI is going to shrink the orgs, but I still think there's going to need to be human oversight no matter what. You can't, at least not yet. Hopefully not ever for us, but
yeah, well, I think there's going to be, the arc is that we're moving towards a single person that builds a company that has $1 billion valuation. It's the 1P, 1B. That's coming. And what does that mean? That there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to try that stuff. Just they're going to shed labor as much as possible, have the fewest people all strapped in with AI tools, and they're just going to run for it. Yeah. I think it's going to change things. Yeah.
Oh, definitely going to change things. Okay. I'll let someone else talk.
Go ahead, Caitlin.
And save this question if you want to just sidestep. But I am curious on your perspective on dashboarding and automations. So I've been playing a lot with not necessarily like surface stuff like this, which is amazing for just shipping right away. But then the things that start to connect with a backend database or an API connection to Google Analytics, whatever. Have you shipped things all the way to the finish line? And where did you see the biggest kind of gap in knowledge or like hump that you needed to get over?
Yeah, awesome. Actually. Thanks for asking a really nerdy question. I love this stuff. If you guys have like faces, could you get on video? I'd love to see it. Otherwise, it's just me and Caitlin hanging out in the voice of Crystal. Thanks, Steph. Thanks. Hey, Daniel. Hello, Revenue Productions. Nice to see your face. It's interesting that name could fit on your birth certificate. Okay, so as far as dashboarding is concerned, Caitlin, I think this is an important question. So the first thing is the data has to get ingested somewhere, and then you have to be able to do something with the data. I work on a project, and we have a developer who's brought everything in and gave me access to data through MotherDuck. I'd never touched MotherDuck before. So that's his kind of repository of data. And I said to him, "Hey, dude, will you give me read-only access to MotherDuck?" Like, I didn't even say MotherDuck. I said, "Will you give me read access to your database? I just need read access." He's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" I was like, I don't know. Let me play. Just let me play. And I worked with Claude and came up with some ideas, and it was able to pull in the data. Could I take that all the way to the final place. So for me, think of it like it was a dashboard. On that dashboard, there's a picker list of companies, let's say. I could click a company and it would show me data in like the dashboards that I want to see. I could make a kind of a single version of that in an HTML page and have it locally. But to put that on the website, to put security around it, to host it on a domain, to have an audit trail, all that stuff, like I kind of got poking at it. It's like, okay, that's clerk.com, maybe for authentication. And then I'm going to have to like just give Claude full access to develop this stuff. Yeah, I can do it. But it does feel a little bit like a toddler trying to build a skyscraper, like I'm not the right person, but I could get 90% of the way there and hand it to someone and be like, this is it. And they're like, okay, cool. Give me a week. And then they can build it. So I think for that's kind of tough to do the whole thing soup to nuts.
Yeah.
At CMOx, we've started doing a lot of this, which is we have internal processes that are repetitive that should be automations and not agents. Y'all should know the difference. What's an automation versus an agent? An automation is if this happens, do that. An agent is look over these things and make a decision based on the data. Like an agent thinks, an automation does. An automation fails predictably. I didn't have access. I couldn't run, whatever. Like it fails predictably. An agent fails in a novel way. So we want to have automations that are specific things like grab this data, put it here. Grab that data, put it there. Transcribe it to this, upload it here. Those are individual automations that an agent can sit on top of and manage. And that agent can then look for the failures of the automations. So people talk about like the magic of AI running a business or something. And I think of it as these individual steps that someone does. And you just replace that with an automation. And then you kind of have a manager that sits on top of it for like, let's say 2 weeks, a month, and they watch all the stuff and come up with all the permutations of what could go wrong. And then their kind of day-to-day work gets offloaded to a agent that can then manage those automations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Have you successfully deployed a time-based trigger for automations that does not rely on you? Is that like relevance, or what do you use?
Well, I mean, there's a couple ways to do it. If you want to start it locally, if you're using Windows, there's the Windows Task Scheduler. Mm-hmm. On Linux-based machines, they have a cron function, cron like Chronos, like time. So it can just trigger something at like 8 a.m. every day or something like that. You can also do triggers based on when data goes in somewhere. So make.com and N8N both have the ability to trigger a workflow when a Google Sheet row gets updated. You can also do schedule-based stuff. You can also do like a little script on the server that runs every morning at 8 a.m. So a bunch of different ways to do it. But like that thinking, I want you to know, Caitlin, like the answer doesn't matter. What I care about is the question. Because you're thinking, how do I run this every day at a certain time? Oh, cool. Well, you can figure that out. But the CMO doesn't need to know the difference between a cron function and a Windows Task Scheduler function right? They just need to know that this is what I want, and I can ask Claude to do it. Or whatever the AI tool is. Cool.
What are your thoughts on Gemini?
1 second, Jimmy. What about Crystal?
Gemini versus...
Yeah, I don't touch it. I'm forced to pay for it, and I don't touch it, and I'm sure it's cool. I don't know. I don't have any experience with Gemini or Copilot or Manus.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because I was out for a walk today, and I was talking with ChatGPT, and I hated it. And like half my conversation was like, "You are terrible. Is there something I can do to make you better?" And they're like, "No." So I've kind of abandoned ChatGPT for most things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy, what you got?
Yeah. Hey, Casey, I was wondering, like for a CMO client, in putting together, so would we try and build an employee to assist it, or would we build a suite of task-based things? So like one employee may handle 4 or 5 different tasks. If you're thinking about a person, would we make 4 or 5 different agents to kind of take the place of this person?
Yeah, I think that's a likely outcome. I think that there's like a whole conversation to be had here around like is this something we want to do to like replace people with agents and automation? I mean, that's a whole kind of like philosophical kind of discussion, but let's just play it out as a maximalist for a moment. Yeah, the work that someone does at the company, they do one of two things. They innovate something new or they do something they've done before. And if they've done it before, probably it's possible to replace that labor. And if it's new and innovative, that's probably where you want a human to start. Probably. But also, I just showed you a brand new slide deck that I had done for me by automation or by AI. So the first thing I would look at, Jimmy, is what is the repetitive stuff that we can just replace? And that's not even AI. That's just automation. I worked with a team and there was someone at the team who was spending 8 hours a week copying and pasting between 2 different CRMs. They had a marketing CRM and a sales CRM that didn't talk. I said, well, we should get an integration there. So we spent a bunch of money and time and we saved that person 8 hours a week of work, which was a really useful thing. What happens after that? How far do you take that? It's kind of up to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. And I'm just envisioning like, when I help somebody hire a team, hire less and have them running a suite of tools rather than, so many people.
Yeah, I think one thing, Jimmy, that happens is, listen, dude, I'm a tinkerer. I play. Like I said, I've been on Claude Code for 2 hours a day since about February 6th or 7th, 7 days a week. And I'm not there yet of like building out these people. I'm still doing things the first time right. I think it's coming. We'll have people. It's kind of one of our things in CMOx for the month of March is to replace some labor with automation so that the labor can work on more intelligent stuff. But I don't think you get there overnight. I think you gotta one of the big things I teach inside the CMOx Accelerator is not what to do, but how to think. That's the thing that's most important to me. Because if you know how to think about this stuff, you're not going to get sold, some snake oil that tells you that it's going to be the agent that you're missing. It's like you're not missing an agent. You have labor that's not getting done or it's getting done inefficiently, and you can replace that. And that's like a day of your work to get that person replaced in all that work for the rest of their life, the rest of the life of the business. So that's how I look at it. What's like the incremental stuff that we can do to free up the brain capacity of the company so that we can get more done? Yeah,
I was thinking that the conversation should be geared towards how do we best serve our clients and what tools are we going to use to make everything that a client wants come through, because that's the way we get paid as fractional CMOs. And that's where I concentrate all my efforts in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And there's a way to I like using it for first drafts. Years ago, I went to a copywriting event with Brian Kurtz. It was called Titans of Direct Response, and all these great copywriters were on stage. It was like my first conference I ever went to. I just sold a consulting package, and I parlayed all the money I made right into that conference. And when I was there, David Deutsch, I asked him on stage, when he was on stage, I said, how do you get all this information about their client? And he's like, it's hard. You got to go to the office with a cardboard box and fill it up with all the info. It's like, that's the hardest thing. It's like writing the copy is not as hard once you have all the data, all the background. And I think about that. And now I can pull all that data, all that background, and I can pull it in a sloppy way. I can give it a 50-page document and only 10 of the pages are relevant, but it can find those 10 relevant pages quickly and summarize it for me. So I find that's really helpful for shortcutting the time it takes to create something of quality. There's some questions here in the chat, what about Lovable? Lovable's cool. I think Lovable's going to get beat up by Claude Code. Maybe Lovable's got some stuff that's great about it and you want to use it. By all means, use it. I wouldn't stop you from using it. But I think Claude is going to try to eat everyone alive. I think ChatGPT is too. So all of these kind of one-off tools that exist will lose their utility when it's all in a really solid all-in-one. We're seeing that, it was reported that Opus 4.6 was the first model from Claude that used its former model to code itself. So we're now at the point of AI using AI to increase its performance. So anything that Lovable has, you would think that Claude could replicate quickly. So, use the tools that you're comfortable with. But I also think that this is going to be that kind of oligarchy of the oligarchy of AI. It's just going to be a few very big companies that are going to just own a majority of the capability. And I want to share just how we do this at the CMOx Accelerator is like, this stuff is fun and it is dangerous because some of you are going to chase the shiny of it and build stuff and have fun. And it's going to come at the cost of winning clients and serving your clients and keeping your clients and increasing your rates and becoming notable. That's the problem. So I think AI is awesome and I'm happy to share everything that I'm doing with it. But that's not the same thing as choosing a niche, committing to it, and then being the best at it. That's where I really think you have to focus as a CMO. So if you're like, I like to noodle on the technology stuff, cool, me too. I built an app. As of today, we're at 6,200 downloads, which is pretty crazy. Just a free app that I rolled out. I've made $1,407 in donations out of it. Just it's a fun project. It's fun. I'm spending time on it. But like, that doesn't help me win clients. Doesn't. It's like no AI tool is going to help you really win a client. Maybe it'll help you with your outreach a little bit, but if it doesn't help you with like your positioning and how you talk to people and how you push them through a sales process and all that, it's just not going to work for you. So for a lot of you, you need to work on getting your first client or your next client or your next highest price client, increase your rate from maybe $5,000 a month to 7, or from 10 to 12 to 15 to more, whatever. That's really where you should focus. And we've got a killer group of folks in the accelerator. We've got a woman who shared yesterday that she is just shy of $50,000 a month as a fractional CMO. And she's playing with all the AI tools. And I think she's pretty busy, but she's busy because she's innovating at the same time. We've got other folks that are, in the 40s and 30s, and then other folks that are coming in without any clients, working on winning their first one. So I've trained over 480 marketers to be fractional CMOs. And just what we're talking about now with Claude Code and AI and the projects and ideas of it, I think is really exciting. But to me, it really does come after. It's the dessert that you get after you eat all your meat, How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? It's kind of the vibe with AI coding. If anyone here is a Pink Floyd fan. So if you want my help, it's just like what we do. You can go to, I'll just put the cmox.co/call. You can just click there and book a call in with my team. You'll talk to Justin. He's super cool. He lives just outside of New York City. And he'll ask you some questions. And if he feels like we can help you, then you'll talk to John or Melissa. And they'll ask you some questions and you can ask them questions. So pretty chill. But that's what we're doing. I'd love to see you come in if you're ready to be a fractional CMO. And if you have any other questions about Claude, we can stick on for another couple minutes or whatever. Happy to answer them. Who else has a
I have
question?
a question about fractional CMO.
Yeah, please.
What level of seniority do you think people usually pivot? Like,
Okay,
for example,
so I think this is
I'm
a big
director
question.
at a major Albev company. But do you think people typically are CMOs before, or they're VPs, or what are you seeing?
I want to tell you about a couple different people. So we've got a woman who's the former CMO of Ancestry.com. Another woman who is the former CMO of Salesforce.com.
Yeah, like
another woman, former VP marketing, former VP of branding creative at ButcherBox. Big names. And then I can think of a guy who has just been at an agency for years. And they're very different. These women who are CMOs, sorry, stop that from ringing. These women that are CMOs are awesome and very talented, but they've also been kind of at the 30,000-foot view as a CMO. And then you've got the other person who is like in an agency and they're just very deep in client work and they know how Google Tag Manager works and they can build stuff and they know how to write ads. They know how to launch things. They're very tactical, but they've never done the strategy. So you have only strategy and like only labor. And then how do these people both get to the same outcome? They do it because they're committed to it and they're going to go look at their weaknesses and they're going to go just improve them. So that's what happens inside the accelerator. So is there a rule that you have to be a certain level of experience before you can be a fractional CMO? No, you just declare it. And in a weird way, I hate this term, fake it till you make it. But if you're going to be the best version, just go do the things that the best person would do. Like the best fractional CMO in your industry, just go do the stuff that that person would do. And before long, you'll be the best because you did all the things that were required to be the best. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes sense. Just curious. Like I said, I've seen a lot of rise in it, but I've seen it more with folks that I know in my industry that have had their career have become the CMO, and now they're kind of at a different phase in life and they're doing it.
Yeah, and I mean the problem with that, Crystal, like while you're absolutely right, and those people at some level deserve it, there's
Sure.
other people that are savvy, that were never given the opportunity. Or for me, I was at an agency for years, and like I took the CMO title, but it didn't come with a pay increase. You know, and like I think they would have been happy calling me the director of marketing, whatever. Like I never would have had that title.
Yeah.
But I just stepped into the role, and then I was like, oh shit, if I'm going to step into this role, I got to be the kind of guy who can do the thing. So I had to learn and do the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're
makes
committed
sense.
to it, I think it's possible.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to kind of just build off of that a little bit, because Crystal, I think it's a really fair question. Comes up a lot for me personally around, right to play, especially if you've been in middle management and like you've had to be the bridge between the older generations and the younger ones. You're like the doer, growth hacker. So I get your point, Casey, around like there's some of those doers who have the right functional skills, but then I worry about like positioning right to play, getting that first client. And then the other thing, which I was going to ask you for your point of view on, is more if you don't even have like the functional resources, like kind of your network of agency creatives, all those kind of people to actually be able to deliver the end product that you deem quality enough to be able to offer CMO services.
Okay.
So another barrier there.
Yeah. Great. And let me just tackle these. The first one is you go get your first client. You go get them. And listen, you're going to get them at any price. That's what I encourage. I don't care what they pay you. I don't care if they pay you $100 a month, because it's going to put you over the barrier of having done it before. And once you've done it, like I just held a workshop 2 days ago. We did 4 hours for building your quarterly plan for your client. You show up with me and you build out that quarterly plan. Even if you don't have a client, you make believe a dream client and you build out the quarterly plan. You're going to be the kind of person who gets it inside their body. Like, what you're going to do as the CMO. And that level of confidence that you take to somebody, like they would love to talk to you. There's a couple reasons they're going to want to work with you, Steph, even though you've never done it before. Here's one reason: because you're in front of them and no one else is.
It's a good enough reason. And I can get behind barrier number one. It's barrier number two that I think the combination of having both of those is where I have inertia.
Okay. Yeah. So that's getting the right talent on board.
Yeah, like having the right network of resources, because when you work, like, I don't know, maybe somebody was saying they worked at Coca-Cola, once you've had a certain caliber of like brand identity work that you're used to working with, it's that combination of like wanting to growth hack, but also wanting quality. And if you don't have the right network and the right combination to optimize a good price point, kind of like creates inertia. And I don't know if anybody else struggles with that, but.
Sure. Yeah, I wonder about that too, because I've been in the industry for 18 years. I worked at all the major media agencies. I've worked on big accounts, and now I work on the brand side. And when you say numbers like the numbers you just said, if I could command that price, then that's probably, with a steady client base, then that is a compelling financial reason to explore it. But like, I also worry, like, do I have a right to play in that space yet? Or am I 5 to 10 years off from having a right to play in that space?
Okay. There's a lot for us to discuss right now. 5 to 10 years off? No. Where there's going to be like computers in people's brains by then. It's going to be a different world in 5 to 10 years. I think if you don't do it now, I don't think that you can support yourself and your family in the role, because I think we're going to see a mass shedding of talent. And I think that there is a call right now of like, if you're a human that's willing to step into this, you got to go now. And yeah, Crystal, like you got a lot to learn before you're going to be the person that can command the top dollar. Sure. But you go get one client. We've got a woman in the accelerator. Her name's Lisa, and she sold her first client at a huge discount because I think her confidence was really low. And I asked her about it, and she was like, I don't know, I might go back and get a corporate job. I was like, just stick it out, get one client, and let's have the conversation. A month into that client deal, she's like, I'm making more than 50% of what I made as a full-time, and I'm working less than 25% of what I worked. And I will never go back. And that's at a discounted rate. And I said, what would you charge the next client? And she was like 20% more, hands down. She kicks herself for not charging more. It's a good lesson. And you have to go learn that lesson. So that's important. The second thing though, Steph, to go back to you, where do you find the talent?
I'm sorry, I have to jump. Thank you so much.
Hey, Crystal. Where do you find the talent? You go find it. Like, it is a buyer's market today. People are getting laid off like nuts. So there's talent, easy to find. I love Upwork for a lot of talent, but I've got like an agency that I love to work with. And you just build it. You just ask for, in boardroom, we have text flying around all the time of saying like, I need someone who can do this thing. One of our CMOs has about $1 million, maybe it's 700 grand to rebrand his company, his client's company. And he's like, okay, I got a lot of money and I got to do this right. So he's using some AI to help, but he really wants to go with like branding folks, and he's bringing in like a proper agency for it. And I think that agency might have been suggested by somebody else. So the problems come up when they come up. I don't have every solution, but I have the ability to solve it because I just go ask people. I can ask in the accelerator, or I can go to the open market like Upwork. There's a ton of people that are available for work. There is no limit to the labor. That's for sure.
It's not the limit to the labor finding. It's like the opportunity cost of the time to do that, and then the risk of messing it up once or twice when you get started with the first creatives or two,
Yeah, so maybe you have to have like a more premium price that you're paying for someone because they've done it before and they have a track record for it. Yeah, I get it. There's risk that's involved. But I want you to remember that as the fractional CMO, your role is to be the CMO and not to be the agency owner. You're not subcontracting any labor here.
Yeah.
You are acting as the CMO of the company, which is to go bring people in and do the work, and the company pays for it. It's not like you take your rate and you give it to the people that did the labor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. But I think it is all resolvable. I just want to make sure that you're not in the place of like, because I can't solve every problem, I can't get started. Because you seem like the kind of person that would figure it out. And isn't that what someone's paying for? Your experience, your taste, your discernment, and then I'll get this shit done, just give me a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then you're worth it.
Thanks for the pep talk.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't
stop
worth
stealing the limelight now. Anybody else?
I think a lot of people suffer from this same feeling.
Yeah.
Which is like, I have to know everything before I get started. And the thing that people hire you for is your ingenuity, your experience, but also just like, Steph's going to do it. What is it in the five big behaviors, behavior traits? What is it?
The big five, like conscientiousness.
Conscientious. Yeah. You're very conscientious. That's the word. Yep. Right.
Yeah,
like you're going to stick to it.
Yeah. It's more for me, and I don't know about other people. It's more like the opportunity cost and just the limit of time. Like when you have the family, when you have other things, it's just the getting started part and going through that learning curve. So maybe that's what your accelerator does. Maybe that's where I'll book a call and get a better understanding, but it's that jump start so that you're not wasting, because you look at your time as like, oh, how much am I worth in an hour? And what does that mean for my family? Okay, now I'm going to spend a month trying to figure this out for a tiny client with crap quality work to get started. It's kind of just like, what's that optimal starting point? What's the right strategy in?
So it's someone that has the capacity to pay you well. I mean, first client I worked with, I kind of took all of their marketing budget when they paid me. It was tough. Like it was nice because I got paid well, but it was tough because I was limited on what I could do. Fast forward like 2 years later, I've got a company that's paying me 50% more than I'd ever charged. And I rolled in with 8 people on the marketing team, full-time US-based employees, added 4 more. We were spending $20,000 a day on ads. So like that, you could go there, like you don't have to earn your way up. This is another thing that a lot of people come in with this belief of. A lot of women too, they think like I have to earn my way of like, I got to do it for free. And then I got it for $2,000 a month and then $5,000 a month and then $10,000 a month. But if you've got the experience and you can identify big enough problems, just jump in. Just jump in at 10. Like you'll find a client that can pay you at $10,000 a month for 6 months of work minimum with a renewal term in there. And then like, if they can pay you that and you're not taking all their money, then you can get stuff done. Like if they're paying you $10,000 a month for 10 hours a week, and you've got a $20,000 a month marketing budget, you can probably get some cool stuff done.
Yeah.
You don't have to find the cheapest people possible.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah. A lot of companies too, Steph, are solving for time and not for cost.
Yeah.
So I worked with a company that did real estate investing, and it was during COVID. It was commercial real estate investing. It was during like the high times.
Gotta go. Interesting. Thank you.
So yeah, the cheap COVID money from the government. And they were like, this is going to dry up. Go hard right now. Every day, go hard. It was fun. And then it dried up and the business slowed down. And after 2 years, I stepped away. But like, that's a cool place to be. We don't always have to work with broke clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta jump. Thank you so
Cool.
much for
See ya.
this.
Yeah, you're welcome. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Anyone have any other questions around this? Around Claude or how to be a fractional CMO or what the CMOx accelerator is? Why my background looks so cool? I don't know if anyone's noticed it's upgraded.
Hey, Casey, I got a question.
What's up, Andrew?
Hey, can you explain like the business in a box side of things for the program, and like when you get your first client, feeling comfortable from that side of things to be able to fulfill from that CMO standpoint and the strategy standpoint?
I don't understand the question. Like, give me like the exact pointed problem you want to solve.
Yeah, like when you get a first client, how does that business in a box help you fulfill like right away for them?
Sure. So the way that we do it is like, what do you do in the first 30 days with the client? We've got a full toolbox of what to do in the first 30 days. Got like 14 or 16 tools and a full process. So it's like you sell the client, you send them the asset audit questionnaire that asks them all the questions about their business. You're paid upfront for it. And then you have 30 days to develop a marketing strategy. We have a full process on that, do training on it, everything from a scorecard to the functional marketing systems map to all these other pieces. And that gets delivered. Along the way, there's fast cash campaigns that you can do in the first 30 days just to kind of jostle some cash free from the business. Usually it's like the low-hanging fruit that you can do once or twice, and that can justify your fee early on. And then you spend the next 2 months, let's say, because it's a quarter, you're going to spend the next 2 months just getting the work done. You're building the team. After you present the plan, you got to get that work done. So we have a whole process on how to do that. And then after that, you roll into a quarterly cadence with me where you do a quarterly plan. So we did a quarterly plan 2 days ago, which was the 17th on St. Patty's. And everyone's now meeting with their client next week to deliver that quarterly plan and finalize it with them. And then come April 1st, they're off to the races. And like, it is super low stress. I'll tell you that the stress for the CMO, like your energy is highest at the end of the quarter and the start of the quarter. And then it's like a sine wave, and then it drops down. The middle of the quarter, you're not working a lot because everyone's doing all the work, everything's on track, you're good. As you get towards the end of the quarter, you're pushing everyone to finish strong. You plan the next quarter, you get that all milestoned, and then off to the races again. So that kind of undulating cadence is really helpful for the CMO. And then when your labor is low for your clients, that's when we focus on your business. So I wouldn't tell anyone right now that has clients to go get a new client right now, but wait like 4 weeks. And then let's have the conversation. We do a big training all on that every quarter. We call it Accelerate Your Business. And it's about what's your new price, who are you going after, how are you going after them. We send a big workbook, all sorts of stuff, and spend time together with that. And then every 2 weeks thereafter, we check in with the CMO to make sure that they're on track.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of like, say, it's a specific issue, whether it's with the creative strategy or the offer or anything like that, do you have specific frameworks that you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the offer is pretty binary. There's really only 2 ways that you can work with one of our CMOs. Like if you were a business owner, you can only work with them in 2 ways. It's either like a half-day consult at the front end or it's engaged. Simple. And those are programmatic things that they do. It's going to be a little different for each client. And sometimes, Andrew, you might have some magic. You might be a design guy. So on top of all the stuff that I think you should do, maybe you'd throw on some like branding review stuff, like that kind of stuff. Maybe you've got some magic that you do. Some folks are like really, really deep in SEO or something, and they're going to throw that magic in. But generally speaking, it's one of 2 things that someone can hire you for. And we have a programmatic way to do all of those things. That's like based on like worksheets and you meeting with the client and having cadence for the calls and everything.
Cool.
Yeah. And do you know EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System?
I've heard of it. Yeah. Yeah.
So this methodology folds really well into EOS. I think EOS is lacking when it comes to the marketing department.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as you can imagine, what do you need to do to a sales team each quarter for quarterly planning? Sell more, get this much in sales. Each person, here's your quota. In marketing, it's like, okay, this is the quota from sales, and therefore these are all the marketing campaigns we have to do, and we got to build the website, and we got to do a rebrand, and we got to hire these people. Marketing is just like a much busier category or department. So that's what I think is really unique here, is that we treat it differently. We come up with all the different projects to work on and campaigns and things that actually move the needle against a scorecard. And that gets delivered to the client, and then they commit to it. And that way, if you're working with a client that's like always kind of questions stuff, they always try to like push back, give you like new ideas every week or whatever. You say, hey, we locked it in for the quarter, dude. Like, I'll put this on the docket for the next quarter. And that puts you into a place of a lot of calm when you work with your clients.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for breaking that down.
Yeah, for sure. Also, if you want to talk more about it, just book in a call with the team and we'll share all that stuff and kind of show you some examples too if you want.
For sure.
Cool. There's a question here. Do you commit time minimum for your retainer versus outcome? Yeah, it's a good question. So I think that there's coverage that the client's looking for. It also depends on your industry, the industry of your client. I like working in the franchise space. So there's a little bit of coverage I need to provide. I need to be around a little bit. So I do state some hours, but they're not committed and they're not tracked. I think that's helpful. We have other folks that are paid base fee plus upside. That's also another option for you. We got some folks that are making more than their monthly. If they would charge $10,000 on their monthly, they're making more than their monthly on the upside, on top of their monthly. It's pretty killer. Someone says, I work with HVAC stuck at 10 million that wants to scale. It's more about empowering the marketing staff rather than replacing them. Yeah, sure. Right. Like giving the marketing staff more tools to use with AI and things like that. And yeah, I don't think we need to like lose people in marketing departments. I do think we're going to lose people though. Rick says, do you fulfill services at all or just give advice and strategy? So I'm the strategist and leader, Rick. That's the big thing. There's three things in marketing: strategy, leadership, implementation. Strategy and leadership is where I want to be. Implementation, I can get someone else or something else to do. I do not want to do implementation. That said, we did if you were here for the start, we did the slide deck. I would do a slide deck for a client quickly because it's probably faster for me to like generate it like I just did than it is to assign it to somebody else and wait a couple days and all that. I would say that I'm wrestling with what I think the right level is for it. And I think where I'm settling is if it's faster for me to have AI deliver the MVP that I can get back to the team to move us through the outcomes faster, I think I'm going to do that. If I have to go talk to Andrew and spend an hour with him to tell him what I want and kind of like hold his hand versus 20 minutes with an AI and give that to Andrew and be like, here, dude, finish this. I think the latter is probably better for the business. And then teach people the prompts I use so they can do it without me. Richie said, how do you solve scope creep so you're not picking up the client's dry cleaning? Yeah, good question. I just say, hey, that's not really in the scope of what we're doing. I think for a lot of folks, they live in a world where they're supplicating to their clients. They're worried they don't have a pipeline. When you have one client and you don't have a pipeline, you're probably going to act a little bit like you'll take anything that they throw at you. But if you have a pipeline and you're like a somebody that people want to work with, you're going to show up and you're going to perform and do the thing that you're paid to do, and then you're not going to do the other stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing is like having the boundary that is like a real good, reasonable boundary. We're filling up for April inside the accelerator. So we close the doors early each month on folks that come in. So if you guys are interested, just book in a call and see. It's like no pressure. We'll just see if we think you've got what it takes, and then you can ask us questions and everything. I also am going to be hosting a workshop next week. I'll send an email about it today. This will be a $100 workshop for you to get your first client from your network. So it's $100. We spend a couple hours together, and it's all about you doing outreach to your network during the workshop. It's not like homework. Just like show up, do it with me. If you're working a full-time job, take 2 hours off, and you'll get pretty far on creating all the conversations you need and knowing what you're selling. And then hopefully that wins you your first sale. So book a call with my team or be on the lookout today for that workshop. And I'd love to see you guys on it. Any last questions before we go? No? All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sticking around for the full episode. As you know, learners are earners, but you've got to take action on what you heard today. For more information and show notes, visit fractionalcmoshow.com. If you'd like me to answer your questions on an upcoming episode, you can share your question at fractionalcmoshow.com. And last, please hit the like and subscribe button so that I know that this content is helpful to you. All right, go get them.